talk about the thousands of volunteers who are leaving their countries to volunteer. There are millions and millions of volunteers who are volunteering locally in their communities, in their regions, in their countries, or in their states. And that's where a lot of the impact is happening with the help of those other volunteers that are coming from abroad. I think that we were asked to talk a little bit about what our organization has been doing since June. Many of you know we just finished a World Conference and World Youth Volunteer Conference in Mexico, where we had over, between the Youth Conference and the World Volunteer Conference, we had over 1,500 people come together to talk about volunteering. And it was very, very exciting. We gave out awards, lots of fun things happened. But again, one of the things that's really important to us is to make sure that we get organizations who use volunteers to talk about that. I think that that's a huge challenge. Here we are in the second year of the SDGs. We have more than 20 countries that reported this year on their SDG advancement, and not a single one of them used the word volunteer in their report. So we can sit back and be really complacent and say, hey, it's great, we're giving out all these awards, we're volunteering, we have millions of volunteers, but people still are not talking about it. People are not talking about what we need them to do. So one of the things that did happen at the World Conference that I'm really proud of is one of our speakers, Salil Shetty, from Amnesty International, the Secretary General, talked about his activists and that they are volunteers. And they have hundreds of thousands of volunteer activists who are helping to make community change. And that's what we need, all the organizations we work with, we need them to say that. They need to talk about their mission and the role volunteers are playing in the same breath. Or we are going to be here 15 years from now, bitching and moaning that volunteering isn't recognized. So I think we need to really not forget that, and really that has to be part of our mantra every day, is how do we get these organizations we're working with to continue to promote the work that volunteers are doing. One of the ways that that IAVE is doing that is a few days ago we launched a new website, Volunteer 2030. This is a way for us to recognize the roles volunteers are playing on a daily basis in response to the Sustainable Development Goals. So please look at that website, 2030, volunteer2030.org. This is a continuation of the website that ended last year, 500 Ways, where we recognize roles volunteers were playing in achieving the Millennial Development Goals. Now we're working on the SDGs, and we need to continue to do that promotion. One other area that we worked in with IAVE that I think is really important and plays a role going forward is we just launched a handbook on youth volunteering and employment and how important it is to engage young people to help them understand that through volunteering, maybe all the jobs aren't there for them to gain their skills, but through volunteering they can gain those skills that are important for them in future employment. So that's available on our IAVE website. Right now it's in 2 languages, it will be in others shortly. The other area of research that we worked around is researching the national volunteer structures for volunteering. We typically use the word national volunteer centers. That's not a common language around the world, so we really looked at and found in over 100 countries around the world that there is some kind of national structure that promotes volunteering. And so these are partner organizations that all of us can be working toward, in either locally and engaging more volunteers on a local level, or when we're looking at how do we partner with organizations and place volunteers through our cross-border programs in the future. How can we work with these national volunteer structures to really engage volunteers in a meaningful way and to help accomplish the things that we want to accomplish?
Well, thanks, Kathy.